Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining us. We're just going to wait one more minute because we see people are filtering into the Zoom meeting. So just bear with us. Okay, it's 12:01. People are still joining, but I think we can get right into it. My name is Steve McDonald. I'm the VP of Communications and Marketing here at UJA. We're so excited for this year's Walk with Israel and very happy to have you with us for the next hour, where we're going to unpack a whole bunch of details and information related to the walk this year. We are really tremendously impressed by the incredible response of the community. As we're going to share in this call, we think this is going to be the biggest and the most important walk in the history of our Toronto Jewish community. We've been doing this for 55 years, and I don't think we've ever seen the kind of pre-walk momentum that we're now seeing in terms of registration, donations. The community is stepping up in a tremendous way, and so we're really, really looking forward to Sunday. At the same time, we also want to ensure that people who have questions about the walk, people who have information that they want to know about the logistics, the security, the festival experience, the walk route, we want to ensure that you have no questions that are unanswered. And in the interest of transparency, we want to continue these webinar sessions we've been hosting for the community to understand what UJ is doing and to really enable people to engage in our work and really engage in our mission to build the strongest possible community that we can right now. So we want to ensure that when it comes to the walk, you're equipped with what you need to know to have the best possible experience and to bring your family and friends with you that day, which we hope everyone will do. And we're going to get right into it right now. I'm going to first introduce Sarah Lefton, our Chief Development Officer. Following Sarah, we're going to hear from David Grachnik, UJ's Vice President of Strategy, Operations, and Analytics. And then we're going to hear from Michael Westcott, UJ's Chief Operations Officer, who oversees the security aspect of the walk. So let's get right into it. And at the end of the presentations, we're going to leave some room for questions and answers. So if you do have questions, go ahead and drop them into the chat function, and we will get to them shortly. With that, I'm going to pass the mic over to Sarah Lefton.
Hi, everybody. Thanks so much for taking the time to join us today. If you have friends, family, others who are curious if they can get this information, because we're getting some of those questions right now. If they're not on the call, the answer is yes, we will record this and we will send it out so you can pass it along after this call to others in your network who want this information as well. So thank you all for making the time. Really appreciate it. Really, really looking forward to seeing all of you and our broader community at the walk on Sunday. You heard from Steve. This is the 55th year of the walk. I've said this a number of times on our previous webinars. There is no more important year to show up than this year. And we said it, and we've said it, and we've said it. And I know you've said it, and you've said it to your networks. And we're looking at the turnout, and it is beyond spectacular. For just a point of reference, last year, at the end of the day, we had about just over 7,000 people registered for the walk, including the day of. Of course, more people show up just to do the walk route and not to come to the festival after and things like that. People always show up who haven't registered. So we were probably last year somewhere between 14 and 15,000 total. This year, so last year, 7,000. This year, as of today, we have just surpassed 15,000 registrants as of this morning, and literally it's going up by the minute. We are more than double the number of pre-registrants, and that number 7,000 last year was on day of, and we expect to still have thousands more register between right now and Sunday morning, because generally speaking, a lot of people wait until the last minute and come in. So we are going to have a huge, huge turnout. Now, the thing that I wanted to share, which is I think one of the most exciting pieces, is not just that our own community is showing up in huge numbers. And not only the fact that there are so many people who haven't come to the walk in 20, 30 years since they were younger, since they had kids who are showing up from our community, because that's all happening. But we have thousands of allies who are coming this year. We literally have the heads of churches who are calling and saying, we're coming straight from services, we're joining later in the route. We have people who are the heads of other faith and ethnic groups who are coming. We have people who, and actually I will even share a personal story. I have an old colleague of mine who surprised me. I looked and I got one of those notifications saying someone's joined your walk team. And I looked and it was old colleagues of mine who aren't Jewish, who are showing up. Just incredible, incredible thing. There's so many people who are showing up to walk with us. It's a moment, not just for the Jewish community, but for the broader Toronto community to say, like, enough is enough. We need to stand up and we need to stand with Israel. And so I am just thrilled with the turnout. The one thing that it does mean when there are so many people is that we're all a little bit patient, a lot patient that day. Because security, and you're going to hear more and more about this from my colleagues, David and Michael, but security is going to be the most important thing. That's what we're going to spend the majority of time talking about on this call. But right at the outset, I have to say, this is a day for us to come together, to be strong, to be proud, to celebrate. But security comes first. And so we all just need to come into the day knowing that things might go faster or slower than we anticipate. And we're all in it together. And it's going to be an amazing day for us and our families and our friends, but we need to be patient. So I'm going to turn it over to David. Before I do, I want to also share some really exciting metrics about where we're at in terms of fundraising, because I know primarily this is an event about bringing everyone together in a show of solidarity and support. But we also know how much the people on the ground of Israel need our support right now and how much they need help. And I'll tell you that we have now raised almost $1 million. We're just under $1 million that will go to Israel. And that is a phenomenal, phenomenal amount of money, way beyond what we had anticipated. The truth is their needs, as you all know, many of you have been to Israel since October 7th, the needs go way beyond anything that we could raise. But to know that we are going to be able to make a significant impact on PTSD support for people on the ground and for helping the families who have struggled as victims of terror and families who are displaced because of what's been going on in the North and the South, to know that we can do that as a result of the money that is raised from this walk is tremendous. And so I want to thank you all for fundraising. I know that many of you have been fundraising. I can tell you, I started sending my kids door to door, old school, to Canvas, like people did 20, 30 years ago. They have to learn how to fundraise. And honestly, the response has been amazing. So I would encourage you and your families to go and do similar things. We have people doing lemonade stands and so on and so forth. So thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm looking forward to seeing all of you there on Sunday. And I'm going to pass it over to my colleagues, David and Michael, to go through logistics and security. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, Sarah. Hi, everyone. I'm here to provide a bit more detail and specifics into what's going to actually happen the day of the walk. We talked a couple of weeks ago, but we're going to share the exact route today. Just a quick reminder, we're not going to be starting this year in Earl Vales Park. We're going to be starting on Bathurst Street, just north of Lawrence. The official start line for this year's event is Old Orchard Grove. I think, team, we have a map that we can put up that everyone can look at. We're expecting a lot of people, so we want to account for that. So what we're actually going to do is we're going to start at Old Orchard Grove, and we're going to create a gathering area between Old Orchard Grove and Douglas Avenue, and we're going to encourage people to gather in that area. So what we're asking is for you to show up at 9 a.m. You can access the gathering area through any of the side streets off of Bathurst, and you're going to gather between Old Orchard Grove and Douglas Avenue. The walk is going to start at 9:30 sharp. We're asking you to come at 9 a.m. and join the gathering area, and then we'll kick the walk off properly. This is the best way, with all the people that we're anticipating coming, to make sure that everyone is in a secure area and we start the walk off the right way. So just a reminder, kickoff is Old Orchard Grove. You can enter starting at Douglas, but there's several blocks up to Old Orchard Grove that you can enter as well. Please be there at 9 a.m. and the walk will kick off at 9:30. We're getting a lot of questions about transit strikes. So I'll talk a little bit more about, road closures and that kind of thing. We're expecting a lot of people. So, what we urge you is to, plan ahead, be patient, and find, the right way down. Hopefully the transit is running. If it's not, we encourage everyone to use Uber, Lyft, to carpool, to take a taxi. We are going to have some parking, which I'll touch on in a second, but it's going to be very, very limited. So we urge you all just to plan ahead and find the right way down. We can't control what's going to happen and what the TTC decides to do. It will not impact the walk at all. The only thing it will impact is people's ability to get down. And there's alternative means for you to get down using a taxi, Uber, Lyft, or carpooling. So with respect to parking, we're going to have very limited parking at Lawrence and Allen Center, which is at 700 Lawrence Avenue West. Parking is going to be on a first come, first served basis. Because parking is so limited, we really, really want everyone to, look at other means. If you have to bring a car, again, parking will be at Lawrence Allen Center. We have, spots designated to the walk that will be available, but they're going to be limited and they're going to be on a first come, first served basis. There are going to be shuttle buses available from Lawrence Allen Center beginning at 8 a.m. to take you from the parking space to the starting line that I just went over. And those shuttle buses will also be available between 1:30 and 4 o'clock to take you from Sherman campus back to the start and back to the parking area. Again, very limited parking. Shuttle buses are first come, first served basis. So you need to really plan ahead and be patient. We encourage you to walk or find other means to get there, but we do have things available if you need them. We're encouraging everyone to start us at the beginning of the walk. We're getting a lot of questions about, can I join the walk halfway? Can I join earlier? The answer is yes, but it may be difficult. And the reason it may be difficult is we have a lot of security planned. As we've talked about, and Michael will talk about again, our security is a top priority for everybody. And you're just going to have to be patient if you want to join later on. So we're really encouraging everyone to join us at the start. But if you need to join later, you can. You're just going to have to be patient because we don't know what it's going to look like at any point in the walk. And you're just going to have to be patient to make your way through. We're also getting a lot of questions about what is and isn't permitted as part of the walk. So things like bikes, scooters, skateboards, rollerblades, and pets are not permitted. If you have a service dog, you are able to bring it. If you're bringing little ones, you are able to bring a stroller. But if you have questions about what will and won't be allowed, both part of the walk and on Sherman campus, I urge you to check out our website. We have a lot of detail about a code of conduct, as well as what will and won't be permitted. There's going to be ability to fill your water bottles up along the route, and we're going to have a grab and go station where you can grab water and a snack. But because of the number of people that we're expecting, we really encourage everyone to pack their own snacks and pack their own water so that you don't have to wait. I want to highlight that registration is still open today and through the weekend. So if you haven't already registered, please do so. When you register, you get a wristband, which allows you to enter the Solidarity Festival. Without one, you will be able to walk, but you will not be able to enter the Solidarity Festival. There is going to be on-site registration for people who decide that they want to go to the Solidarity Festival at the last minute. We will make sure that you're taken care of. Doors to the Solidarity Festival open at around 10:15 to 10:30. So for those of you that have chosen not to walk, but want to go directly to the Solidarity Festival, plan on getting there around that time. I hope you're all excited about the Solidarity Festival that we're planning. We have an amazing lineup. For those of you that haven't seen it, Nassim Black will be there. DJ Shallows, who survived the Nova Festival, will be there playing. Montana Tucker, we announced yesterday. We're really excited about her. Shai DeLuca will be emceeing. And we have a lot of other fun surprises that ladder up to our theme of solidarity with Israel, and we will dance again. So we're excited to see you there. The festival is going to be cashless. So please bring your meal ticket card if you pre-purchased. That's really important. In your kit, you got a meal ticket card. You need to bring that to the event if you pre-purchased a meal. If you didn't, there's still going to be food to buy, but it is cashless. So please bring your debit or credit card so that you can buy something on site. If you don't have a walk t-shirt, we encourage you to wear blue and white, be creative, decorate your own shirt, show your pride. We've also gotten a lot of questions about whether or not you can bring your own signs to the walk. The answer is yes. The only thing that we ask is that you make sure that you have appropriate messaging and you do not include any derogatory or hate-filled messages. This is an event including kids, so we have to show up properly as a community. We encourage everyone to sign up for our SMS updates. Michael's going to talk more about this. This is going to be the only way that you get real-time communication as you are walking or when you're in Sherman campus as part of the festival. And we'll put up the link a couple of times when Michael is talking so that you can see what we're talking about. If you still have questions, we want to make sure that you have everything that you need. So check out our website or call our walk hotline and someone will get back to you as quickly as we can. We're getting a lot of calls, as you can imagine, with a couple of days left to the event, but we will get back to you and we're going to make sure that you have everything that you need for the day of. Finally, as a planning team, we've done our best to think through every detail and to make this event as safe and as meaningful as ever. However, there's going to be a lot of people. So we've said it a couple of times. We need everybody to be patient. We fully know that not everything is going to be perfect. We ask that you show our staff and volunteers patience and respect. And most importantly, we're here to help. So I look forward to seeing you all on Sunday. And I'm going to turn it over to my colleague, Michael Westcott, to take us through security.
Thank you, David. My name is Michael Westcott. Toronto Police will be there in substantial numbers to keep you safe. As David mentioned, we've set up a special SMS platform that you can sign up to receive updates on during the day, during the walk, and in the lead up to it. For those that have already signed up, we will be doing some tests during the tomorrow and then first thing in the morning on Sunday. If you see something that concerns you during the walk, tell us. Tell UJA staff. We will all be wearing prominent shirts. Tell a uniformed police officer. At no point during the walk will you not have a Toronto police officer within your sight. You will also have private security as well. Bring it to their attention, or tell one of our volunteer marshals. You'll be able to tell our volunteer marshals because they'll be in high visibility vests with the words marshal on them, and they are there to help direct you and pass any concerns that you have back up the chain. Please ensure that you follow directions from police and from staff. They're there to keep you safe. We know that anti-Israel protesters want to provoke you. They want to provoke a response. If people try and provoke us, we must not engage. We must be strong. We must be resilient. We must keep walking. Our opponents want pictures and video of people screaming at them. Just keep walking. Don't give in to what they want. Police are responsible for keeping everyone safe, and police can and will remove anyone who engages in confrontations. Again, I'm going to draw your attention to the SMS link. Please sign up so that we can share updates with you. There will be a security check to come onto Sherman campus for the Solidarity Festival. Please be patient. We are expecting a lot of people, and we need to do this to keep you safe. As has been previously referenced, we have a list of things that will not be allowed on campus. Please familiarize yourself with it. We will remove anyone from campus who poses a threat to safety. Police are well aware of the things that anti-Israel protesters are saying and posting on social media, and we will be keeping them up to date about any information that we find. I look forward to your questions. And again, I'm just going to give one more plug for the SMS link. Please sign up to receive updates because it's the best way for us to keep you informed of any information that we need to share with you on the day of the walk. Thank you very much. I'm going to turn it back over to my colleague, Steve McDonald.
Thank you, Michael, David, and Sarah. We've got lots of great questions coming through the chat. We've been answering some of them on the spot in the chat, but we've also got some common themes coming up. So I'm just going to get right into it and pass along some questions to the panel. The first thing I want to say is, following on Michael's comments about security, we're really trying to balance two things here at UJA. We're trying to balance the need to be as transparent and open with the community as possible because we know what's going on in the world, we know what's going on in our city, and we know you've got questions and concerns. So we want to be as transparent as possible. On the other hand, this is a public forum. This presentation is open to anyone in the community who wants to join it. The recording of this presentation is going to be shared tomorrow in our Friday newsletter. And the reality is we know that anyone can join this presentation, including people who don't support the Walk with Israel and are going to be protesting it. And so there's some information we can share, and there are other pieces of information related to security that we're just not prepared to share because our top priority is to ensure that we can have a safe environment at the walk. And that means there are moments where there are going to be measures that are hidden from the public, but are there in place to ensure everyone is safe. So if you have questions about security, if you have concerns about security, please email us at info@walkwithisrael.com. And on the day of the walk, as Michael mentioned, if you see anything that's concerning, anything that's upsetting, please report it immediately to the nearest officer or the nearest security guard. It is not our job as residents, as average people, to figure out whether the law has been broken. It's our job to report something that we feel makes us unsafe or that is causing a threat. And it's the role of police to determine what it means in terms of the law and what it means in terms of enforcement. So please, let's do our part. Let's report. Let's ignore the protesters, because the protesters, as Michael shared, are really trying to bait our community and trying to portray the pro-Israel movement as extreme. And we know that that's not who we are. We believe in freedom, democracy, and human rights. That's what Israel's all about. And at the end of the day, we walk proudly every year, regardless of what's happening in the Middle East, because supporting Israel and having a connection to Israel is a core part of our identity as a community. And so let's remember, our kids are watching. We want our kids to have the best possible day. We want them to walk away from this walk as they do every year, with powerful memories that they're going to carry with them throughout the rest of their lives about standing up for Israel and showing their pride in their community. So please, our kids are watching, and let's act accordingly. But let's get right into the questions. The first thing was related to signage and banners and displays. David and Michael, I'll pass it to one of you to take this on. We're encouraging people to be creative. If you're coming with a day school, if you're coming with a shul group or a camp group, feel free to show your personality, whether it's face paint, whether it's fun signs, whether it's your camp t-shirts, whatever it is you want to wear, bring it. We do ask that you avoid anything that's graphic, anything that's hateful, of course. But people were asking about whether or not we're permitted to bring signs on sticks or banners on sticks at the walk itself. Michael, do you want to speak to that?
Yeah, thank you. So during the public portion of the walk on Bathurst, signs will be totally permitted and completely acceptable, so long as they conform to the rules that Steve just laid down. They need to be appropriate. This is a family-friendly event. We want to make sure that we are putting our best foot forward and representing the best of ourselves. When it comes to Sherman campus, we're going to be asking people not to bring sticks and batons and sign poles and things like that onto the campus, but we will have space for you to turn them over and surrender them. So you can have them during the public portion of the walk, but when you come onto campus and go through the security check, we will be asking you to surrender them, and we will have a place that we can take them.
Okay, great. And the next question, and this probably goes to David, has to do with accessibility. So obviously we want to ensure the walk is as inclusive as possible, whatever one's accessibility factors. So people are asking about things like, can I, if I use a scooter regularly, can I drive my my scooter as part of the walk? What are the accessibility limitations when it comes to service animals at the walk or at the festival? David, can you speak to accessibility?
Sure. Good question. This is a fully accessible walk. So if you have a service animal, by all means, if it has the right designation and it's visible, you're allowed to bring it. If there's a special consideration that you need, because there's going to be so many people and we want to make sure that you have the best experience possible, I urge you to just call us at our info line. We'll take your information and we'll make sure that we can help you to the best of our ability. But it's a fully accessible walk. There's going to be options for people who, can't walk anymore and want to be taken to the end. But we also just want to make sure that if you have something specific, because I know accessibility is very different and it's very case specific, just call us and let us help you. We want to make this walk as meaningful for everybody as possible.
Perfect. And we also just want to underscore the importance of registering in advance. We are seeing record registration levels, which is fantastic. And the nice thing is, when you register, you get access to the festival. You can't enter the festival without registering, but you get access to the festival at the Sherman campus. And we also just want to underscore for people, we recognize that the rising cost of living has a big impact on a lot of families. And if you find yourself in a position, or if you know someone who's in the position where they say, I would love to come to the walk, I don't really think that I'm in a position to afford registration, please reach out to us, info@walkwithisrael.com. We don't want finances to be a barrier for any member of the community or any ally of our community to participate. The walk is not an inexpensive undertaking. As you know, there's a lot of logistical and security costs. But we as a community, have really stepped up, and we've seen so many people register, so many people have donated. And so if for some reason, registration is a barrier for you, please reach out to us. We're happy to accommodate people on a case-by-case basis. Again, email us at info@walkwithisrael.com. David, we've had a number of people ask about their kits. So in some cases, people have said, I registered, but I wasn't able to pick up my kit. Can I pick it up at the walk kickoff location? What should someone do if they've registered but are not able to pick up their kit?
So if you've registered and you're not able to pick up your kit, they will be available at Sherman campus once you get through security. But again, we have pickup today. We highly suggest that you make your way here to pick up your kit if you can, because of the numbers of people and the security protocols we have in place. We want to make sure that we move through people as quickly as possible. But if for some reason you can't come today, you will be able to get your kit at Sherman campus.
Great. Michael, we have a question for you related to security. Someone said the campus grounds have many access points from the woods around the property. Can you speak to security considerations for the perimeter of the property during the event?
So this is a good example of something that I'm not going to be able to get into a lot of details on, but I can assure you that we have taken every possible step to ensure that our campus is safe and secure for the event. It is why we will have a substantial security screening for people who are coming to our Solidarity Festival. And again, I'm just going to take this opportunity to ask for your patience, because we are expecting a lot of people to be participating in the walk, and we're going to need to screen everybody appropriately and safely to ensure that everybody who comes onto our campus can do so safely. So I can't get into a lot of the operational details, but I can assure you that we're aware of those concerns and we are taking every possible measure to address them.
Okay, great. I got a few questions coming up, so I'm just gonna kind of wrap them all together for David and Michael. And some of these I'm going to answer directly. Someone asked if they can bring a dog to walk with them. Only if it's a service dog, please. We ask that you not bring bikes, dogs. Strollers are fine. Service scooters, service animals are fine, but no kind of regular dogs. People have asked about bathrooms. David, can you speak to bathrooms along the walk as well as at the festival?
Yeah, absolutely. We're going to have porta potties along the walk. We're also going to have a lot of porta potties on Sherman campus as part of the festival, so your needs will be met.
Okay, great. And someone has asked, what happens if I bring something for the walk? It could be an umbrella or whatnot, or walking sticks for those who use walking sticks. Michael, when someone brings something like that, when they get to the festival, what happens if they can't bring it into the festival?
So we'll have places for people to surrender items that are not going to be permitted on campus. Obviously, if you have a device that supports you with an accessibility need, we will absolutely accommodate you in that. However, any other items, we will not be able to permit them onto campus, so we will ask you to surrender them, and that's how we'll be proceeding. That will happen at the security checkpoint on the way in. And we will clearly, like we posted both our code of conduct and a list of prohibited items, and there will be signs posted at the security check-in, just reminding everybody of what's acceptable and what's not.
Okay, great. Lots of questions coming through. I mean, this community is going to come out in big numbers on Sunday, which is really, really exciting to see. People are asking David about shuttle buses. Can you just reiterate how the shuttle buses are going to work? I know that parking is going to be a consideration for a lot of people. The possibility of TTC closures is going to be a challenge for some people. Can you just reiterate what's going to happen with shuttle buses?
Sure, we are going to have shuttle buses, but I just want to manage expectation that there are going to be a lot of people, and we don't have a seat for every single person coming to the walk on the shuttle bus. So while we will have shuttle buses, we also we don't have enough seats for everybody. So we need to make sure that people plan alternative routes to get to the route, to the walk, the start. But also, if they do plan on taking the shuttle bus, it's on a first come first serve basis. So you're going to need to be patient. But shuttle buses are going to be available from the parking area, which is Lawrence and Allen Plaza, as of 8 a.m. And those shuttle buses will take you to the start. We have shuttle buses available at Sherman campus from 1:30 to 4 to take you from Sherman campus after the Solidarity Festival back to the start and back to the parking area.
Okay, great. We've got some questions related to kits, a lot of different questions related to the walk kits. If you have a question about your walk kit, either you need something changed or you've had a challenge with pickup, please email us, info@walkwithisrael.com. We'll get back to you as soon as possible if you have any questions related to the kits. Michael, people are asking about security along the walk route. Some have asked whether or not Bathurst is going to be closed. I can confirm all of Bathurst for the route itself is going to be closed to traffic. It's going to be used by walkers. People are asking about police protection along the route. Michael, can you speak to this a little bit? People are asking if there'll be police presence, for example, at the various side streets.
There will be police presence all along the route. We've been working with Toronto Police now for several months to ensure that there are substantial resources in place to protect all of the participants. And I can assure you that for anybody participating in the walk, at no point will you not be within sight of multiple Toronto police officers in uniform, as well as our private security who are there to support you, UJA staff and volunteers. But there will be a very, very substantial police presence all throughout the walk route and at the Solidarity Festival at the end.
Okay, excellent. People are asking about small backpacks, bags, things like that. When entering the festival, Michael, anything people should know about bringing backpacks and bags?
Yes. I recognize that you're going to have to walk for 5 kilometers before you come to the Solidarity Festival if you do the full walk. As much as possible, limit the items that you're going to bring onto campus, because of course we're going to have to perform security checks before people can come into the Solidarity Festival, and the more things people have, the longer that's going to take. Having said that, again, I recognize particularly people who are going to be walking with small children or senior citizens, you're going to need to bring stuff along. So do your best, and just understand that we're going to do our best to move things along quickly, but our first priority is going to be your safety. And so please just be mindful of that when you come to Sherman campus and you'd like to join the Solidarity Festival, that there is going to be a security check, and we are going to need to be thorough and be cautious about our approach, because our first priority is your safety.
Okay. Someone has asked about, if they get dropped off or take an Uber to one of the side streets at the beginning or along the walk, can they enter from there, or will the streets be blocked? I can jump in on this. So we are, to reiterate what David shared, we are asking people to assemble between Douglas Avenue and Old Orchard Grove for the beginning of the walk. You can enter from any of the side streets within that zone. Now, if for some reason you want to join the walk at a further point closer to the Sherman campus, you can do so. You just have to exercise a lot of patience, because while it will be accessible, once the walk proceeds north, there may be moments where the police put a barrier in place in one spot or move a barrier from another spot. And so there might be a street where you're approaching and you're going to be entering the walk, but you might have to wait 10, 15, 20 minutes. You never know, depending on what's happening. So yes, you can join the walk part way. If you do so, just be extra patient and recognize that you might have to wait a little bit if for some reason security is blocking a particular entry point. People are asking a lot about various security measures. They're asking about metal detectors. They're asking about protection from protesters. They're asking about a buffer zone between the protesters and the walk. Some have asked whether or not they should be videoing the protesters. We don't recommend that. Our role is to walk and to show our support for the people of Israel and to show our strength as a Jewish community. It is the role of police to monitor the anti-Israel protests for hate speech, for incitement, for any threats, for any harassment, for any violence. Believe me, police are going to be present in massive numbers, and they are taking this extremely seriously. They are there to do what needs to be done in terms of the anti-Israel protests. So please don't confront anti-Israel protesters. We encourage you not to do things like video them or speak to them. We encourage you to walk proudly and positively. The people who are paid to do this professionally are on top of this. So please, let's let them do their work, and let's not make it more difficult for police. Let's walk proudly, and let's ensure that it's a safe and great day for everyone.
Steve, may I just make one point on that?
Yeah.
I know that there are a lot of details that people would like us to share with them about specific operational security considerations, but for your safety, we do need to keep a lot of that secret. I will say there is literally no step that we could conceive of that we haven't taken to ensure your safety during this walk. And Toronto Police have been incredible partners in putting this together. I know we had Inspector Jack Gurr from Project Resolute on a webinar a couple of weeks ago, and I believe he was quite clear that the police understand that their role is to keep you safe, and they will. And so I'm going to keep reiterating that while there are a lot of things that for your safety we can't talk about, there will be substantial measures in place. And please, if you see somebody who's trying to provoke you, do not engage with them. It is what they want. They want to create an unfriendly environment. They want people screaming at each other. They want pictures of you screaming. Don't give it to them. The best thing you can do, and the thing they will hate the most, is if you just keep walking.
And just some more logistical questions have come up. So, for example, people asked if they can leave the walk once they get walking, if for some reason they have to exit. Yes, the walk route is open for you to leave or to join. That's not going to be an issue. Again, you just might have to be a little bit patient because we're going to have tens of thousands of people on Bathurst. There's going to be hundreds and hundreds of security personnel. There might be moments where security tells you can't exit from this route. You just have to go to a different route. But yes, you can leave the walk at any time if you need to do so. People are asking about parking locations. Just to reiterate, the Lawrence Allen Center will have limited parking, but it is a first come, first served basis. We really encourage people to do everything they can to find alternative means of transportation, whether it's carpooling with people, whether it's parking at a friend's house and walking over from there. If there's a way for you to park and walk over to Bathurst, that's probably your best bet. Again, unless you take an Uber or a Lyft. People have asked about whether or not the media will be covering the Walk with Israel this year. Absolutely. We've got a team working on engaging the media, inviting the media. We have elected officials who've been invited and will be coming, along with allies who are leaders in other faith and cultural communities who will be there to show their support. We very much want to send a message through the media to the broader Toronto community that this walk comes at a time when our community is facing rising hate, when the people of Israel are defending their very right to exist. And our community will never be shy to be public and proud about who we are and what we believe in. And this walk is a statement that we are not gonna hide, and that we support Israel as we always have as a community. So yes, we are engaging media, and that's why also we're encouraging people to be aware that not only are our children watching when we're at the walk, media is watching as well. And the anti-Israel movement absolutely wants to portray the pro-Israel movement as extreme, and they want to delegitimize us in the media. And let's not give them the gift of that. Let's ignore the anti-Israel protesters, and let's ensure that this is the best walk in the history of our community. I'm looking through the questions, and lots of people have questions about the walk kits. You should know that supplies are extremely limited. In fact, we've run out of a number of things. So you can still register and get certainly a wristband to enter the festival. So we want to encourage everyone to register. But if for some reason we're sold out of walk t-shirts in your size, be creative. You may want to pull up a walk shirt from last year or a previous year. You may want to pull up your favorite Israel themed shirt. Again, your camp shirt, your day school shirt. Be creative, and when in doubt, wear blue and white, because we want to see all of Bathurst filled in the sea of blue and white. We have ordered more materials this year, but again, because of the overwhelming response from the community, I think we're on the cusp of being completely exhausted of certain supplies. So again, please register and get your wristband. But if you aren't able to get a walk shirt, just be creative and find another way to show your support. People are asking about the festival and whether or not it'll be online and live streamed. David, can you speak to this?
We're looking into options as we speak. We'll share more detail in the next 24 hours on that.
Okay, great. And it really is going to be a phenomenal festival. You know, as David mentioned, we have a wonderful lineup. We have Montana Tucker is going to be there. We've got DJ Shalos, who's a really incredible Israeli DJ, is going to be with us. We've got Nissim Black, who people who went to the campaign launch last year will be familiar with. Nissim Black, who's a really special person. You won't want to miss the Solidarity Festival because it's going to be family friendly. There's going to be lots of activities for everyone. And there's going to be some really, really powerful musical performances. People are asking about bringing Israeli flags, T-shirts. Yes, bring it all. There's no limit to what you can bring as long as it's not hateful or problematic in that regard. People are asking if it's appropriate to wear bring them home T-shirts. Absolutely. We're going to have a number of hostage families of victims of October 7th walking with us as well. If you have bring them home posters or T-shirts, absolutely. This walk comes at a time when we have more than 100 Israelis and people from different countries still being held in Gaza by terrorists. We're celebrating Israel right now, but we're also sending a message that we will not stop speaking up and advocating for the people of Israel and for these hostages. So if you want to bring them home hostage posters or signs or shirts, don't hesitate to do so. People are asking what happens if someone becomes ill or unwell or unable to continue. Michael, do you want to speak to this? We will have certainly emergency medical staff on site.
Yeah, there will be medical staff all along the route available to assist. If anyone requires medical assistance, please bring it to the attention of either a uniformed Toronto police officer, a security guard, a volunteer marshal in their high visibility blue vest, or a UJA staff member in their T-shirt. Any of us can coordinate to bring medical services to anyone who needs it. So please don't hesitate on that, and we will have resources that we can pull from a number of different places to assist people as necessary.
Okay. We've got some questions related to picking up wristbands. So if someone has registered and they need to pick up their wristband, David, can you speak to this?
Sure. So if you're not able to come today to pick up your wristband or your kit, wristbands will be available for pickup at Sherman campus once you pass security at the day of the event.
Okay, great. Someone has asked if there's a place to give cash donations. I'm actually not sure about that one. Sarah, can you speak to this? If someone does want to make a cash donation, what would you recommend?
Sorry. So yeah, sure. So cash, no. We won't take cash the day of, but certainly card payment. There'll be opportunities to make donations on the spot with cards and things like that. So if you are looking to make a donation on the spot, we're hoping to raise more money that day. Obviously, we need all the help we can get for those in Israel who are struggling. The best way to do it is to make a donation online on the Walk with Israel website. So for those of you, and I've had this question a few times, who have kids who are having, who are doing lemonade stands or who are going to door to door, who are raising money from friends and family and who are collecting cash, the best thing to do is to take that cash and then make one donation online on the website. That's the best thing to do and the easiest thing to do. If you need any help otherwise, just email info@walkwithisrael.com and we can help you.
Okay, great. Someone has asked if they can bring a stroller on the shuttle. David, can you speak to that?
It's a good question. I'm gonna ask Michael to comment because I'm not sure if that's a security restriction or not.
Look, I think if it's a stroller that collapses easily, that you can get onto the shuttle bus, yes. But these are school buses, so there are steps up to them. So just be mindful of the fact that you're going to have to navigate through a bit of a tight space with it. But we will do our best to accommodate you.
And a number of people have asked, Michael, if someone has surrendered something at the entrance to the festival, will it be possible to pick it up at the end of the festival?
No.
Okay, great. Some people have asked if they can park at the JCC. No, you will not be able to park at Sherman campus due to logistical as well as security considerations. It's just not possible. So please don't come to Sherman campus expecting to park there. So I don't know if we can answer this. Some people are asking at what time in the morning Bathurst north of Lawrence is going to be closed. Michael, can you speak to that?
Very early.
So
I cannot say specifically because ultimately that's a decision for the police. But I think you can expect that road closures are going to start fairly early in the morning. I know that there's been some signage posted about this, But ultimately, those are operational decisions that the police are going to make based on their own assessments.
If you do live in that neighborhood, or if you're planning to drive along Bathurst that morning for something other than the walk, probably best to make alternative arrangements. It's not going to be a great place to be driving, so just keep that in mind for Sunday morning. We've got various questions related to transportation. People are asking for the best route to get there, and I think I just want to say to this, it really depends on your circumstances. Some people are coming from out of town. Some people live in the neighborhood. Some people live far north. Some people live far south. I think the key is you're going to want to have a really easy way to get there that doesn't require you to find a parking spot, if you can do that. So whether it's taking an Uber, taking a Lyft, carpooling with someone, again, if you have a friend who lives along the Bathurst corridor in that neighborhood, parking your friend's driveway and walking over, be creative, because if you're planning to park and walk over, you might find it extremely difficult, even if you go to a place like Lawrence and Allen Center. But aside from that, David and Michael, people have asked if we're going to have busing from up north. My understanding is there's no intention for that right now, but correct me if I'm wrong.
No, you're right. We will not be having buses from up north or even from downtown up to the start. We're going to have the shuttle buses that we spoke about, and we're encouraging people to plan ahead and use Uber, Lyft, TTC if they're not on strike, and carpool to get there.
Yeah. And again, just because a number of people have joined late, the walk will start at 9:30 a.m. sharp. You're going to want to get there at 9 a.m. at the latest. So plan for a kickoff at 9:30 a.m. sharp. And unlike in previous years, we're going to be assembling directly on Bathurst Street. We're not going to be in a park. We're going to start right on Bathurst Street. So we're asking you to assemble in a zone along Bathurst Street, just north of Lawrence, between Douglas Avenue and Old Orchard Grove. So that's Douglas and Old Orchard Grove. You'll be able to enter that zone from any of those side streets. But again, we will kick off right at 9:30 on the dot. So you're going to want to get there early. Folks are asking various questions about TTC stations and which one's closest to the start, as well as the TTC strike. Is there anything that we can say about the TTC or what people should be thinking about when it comes to the TTC? Because obviously the potential for a strike puts any TTC option up in the air, so people should probably have a backup plan. But what would you say to this, David?
So TTC information is readily available online. If you have questions, feel free to call us and we can help you navigate it. But if the TTC does go on strike, the options are carpool, taxi, Uber, or Lyft, and plan ahead and allow yourself extra time because there's going to be a lot of people.
Someone has asked how many people we expect at the walk this year. It's a great question. I can tell you the pre-registration is a really helpful indicator. And as was mentioned earlier, our pre-registration is almost double. In fact, by the time we get to the weekend, it will be double what it was last year. In an ordinary year, we get somewhere between 20 and 25, up to 30,000 people at the walk. Certainly based on the pre-registration, we're on track to beating any of those records. So we're expecting a massive, massive crowd. We're also expecting not just a significant turnout from our community, but from other communities as well that support Israel and support our community at this time. So yeah, we're expecting north of 30,000. Certainly I am, but we're going to wait to see what happens. And of course, the police will give us an estimate that day based on what they think the crowd is. I'm just looking through the questions. Again, people are asking about shuttles. They're asking about parking. Some people are asking questions that were addressed earlier. So if we have not covered your question in this call, please go to walkwithisrael.com. We have an FAQ page with lots of information. So if you do have questions that we didn't answer, check out our website first. If you don't find the answer there, send us an email, info@walkwithisrael.com. Michael, someone has asked whether or not portable speakers are allowed during the walk. Can you speak to this?
During the public portion of the walk, we encourage you to exercise caution. We have limitations in what we're going to be allowing people to bring onto campus. So I think that being loud and proud during the walk is incredibly important, but also be sensitive to the fact that you're going to be walking in a very large crowd of people. And the people who are going to be immediately proximate to you may not like it very much if you have a very loud sound device right next to them. So I think please use your best judgment on this, and be aware that when it comes to Sherman campus, you will not be permitted to bring amplified sound system onto Sherman campus. So please exercise strong judgment about that.
A number of people have asked about various security measures, such as metal detectors. I'm gonna address this right away and say we are not going to be answering every security question. There will be extensive measures in place. Again, some of those measures you're going to see very visibly on Sunday. Other measures you're not going to see right away, but they are there to ensure that we're monitoring the full route of the walk and that we're keeping everyone safe. So again, if you have questions about metal detectors or about this measure or that measure, believe me, if you've thought about it, Toronto Police and Michael's security team have very much thought about it and have a plan to address it. We're just not prepared to tell you every aspect of that plan in an open forum like this one. With that, people are asking as well about sort of the exposure of their kids to the anti-Israel activists. As we mentioned, we take this very seriously. The hate that our community has had to endure long before October 7th, but especially since October 7th, is something that's impacting our kids. And so we just want to really encourage people to be extra attentive to the needs of their kids. We did a session recently with a staff member from JFNCS who coached us on how to be proactive about caring for your kids' mental health around the walk. But really, the security measures that we put into place are not just designed to physically protect our community at the walk. They're designed to ensure as best as possible a buffer between anti-Israel protesters and the walk, because we know the impact that they can have just on the mental health of our children and youth in particular. So please be extra aware of your kids that day, be extra aware of how much they've eaten, about their state of physical sleep and rest, and just be prepared to talk with them about the difficult things that may come up and to validate that these things can be alarming to kids. But really, it's important, I think, that all of us as parents, and I'll be at the walk with my kids, that all of us reassure our kids that this is a positive experience. There will be, I anticipate, far more people walking along Bathurst to show their support for Israel than the number of people who are protesting Israel. So again, there's strength in numbers, but be prepared to kind of navigate this issue with your kids if you think that your kids are going to find the situation upsetting or concerning in any way. I'm just looking at some of the other questions that have come through. I'm going to open it up to the panelists because we have about 7 minutes left. Michael, David, and Sarah, is there anything that we haven't covered that you think is really important to cover?
I think there's one point that should be made with respect to accessibility. The Solidarity Festival is fully accessible. However, due to security considerations, the street in front of the campus will be closed to vehicle traffic. So it will not be possible to drive onto campus to do drop-offs or pickups. So people need to factor that into their planning accordingly. That's a safety requirement from police. So coming onto camp, our campus is fully accessible to come onto as a pedestrian, but we do not have the capacity to bring vehicles onto campus. And so people need to plan accordingly for that.
Someone has asked what time we'll be able to start assembling on Bathurst. You can assemble quite early. There's no kind of time that you're not allowed to assemble on Bathurst, but we're certainly encouraging people to plan to arrive on Bathurst no later than 9. So again, you don't have to sleep overnight, but get there early and be ready for the kickoff, because the street is going to fill up very quickly with a significant crowd.
I was just going to ask Michael to weigh in for a second, Steve. Sorry, I'm processing all these questions as we go. On leaving the campus, we have a number of questions about leaving the campus, security as people leave the campus, whether people should be parking north or south and then walking to their cars, and what kind of security presence there's going to be in those areas. Michael, can you just comment on that?
So there's going to be a substantial security presence along Bathurst, and Toronto Police will also be sweeping the areas immediately proximate to it. So for people who, and I'm assuming what people are asking is if I park near Sherman campus and then make my way down Bathurst to the start and then come back up, or they park near Sherman campus because they're just going to come to the Solidarity Festival, there will be a substantial security presence in the area. However, the main focus of that will be along Bathurst. I would just ask that people be aware that obviously both parking in the area and on side streets will be quite limited. And getting around in this area because of the closures will also be quite limited. So I would probably suggest that if your intention is to come to Sherman campus just for the Solidarity Festival, that you probably don't want to try and park in the area. You probably want to try and find other means of coming to the campus. I am also going to stress that when it comes to things like Uber and taxis for pickups and drop-offs, you're not going to be able to do that on the campus or on the street immediately in front of the campus. You're going to need to move south to Shepherd to be able to do that.
Yeah, so I think just to reiterate, I'm looking at a lot of these questions. People will leave the festival. If you're not leaving by shuttle, you can leave by walking up the hill, which is not far, up and then onto any street there, any side street in the area. That's what I would suggest, and order an Uber or have a family or friend, someone pick you up in that area. I think there'll be a lot of people doing that. What I've heard is people are carpooling to the start and leaving. I would suggest carpooling as much as possible, having family or friends or someone you know who's not coming to the walk, drop you off or pick you up in a neighboring, like in a side street in the area. Park on one of those side streets in the area. There are plenty of places to park in those all around the streets at the beginning and the end, or Uber. Or a taxi, but again, you'll need to do a short walk up out of the festival. It's really like you're talking about a 5 to 7 minute walk up just to one of the side streets to get picked up. That's the best thing to do. And there again, there will be security in the area. The other thing that I'm just seeing over and over and over again. So I just want to reiterate, the police have been phenomenal, truly phenomenal for us to work with on this. They have made it so clear that it is important to them that we can come out and we can celebrate. And we are Torontonians who deserve to march with pride. And they are going to be in the area making sure that protesters do not interrupt our route. If they come in and you see somebody, Michael's talked about it, David's talked about it, you have to tell a police officer. If someone is walking with us who shouldn't be walking with us and are causing any disruption, you just have to tell somebody. We cannot deal with it ourselves. The police are there to deal with it, but they are there and they are very much dedicated to making sure that we are safe. So for all the questions in the chat about what happens with the protesters at Bathurst and Shepherd, or are they going to be on sidewalks, or are they going to be lining the routes, or are they going to be at the entrance to the festival? The answer is the police are dedicated to making sure that none of those people come anywhere close to us or our children. And so we just have to understand and trust that the police have a plan in place. And they've been working on this, and you know, we can't answer the hundreds of questions about where people will stand or won't stand, but we know that the police are committed to making sure that we are not interrupted. And we have to tell the police anything that we hear. The other thing, just because I know people were joining, and I'm going to reiterate one more time, the start. We keep getting questions about the start. We are suggesting one last time that people join the route on Bathurst Street, between Douglas and Old Orchard. There are so many people. The response has been beyond incredible, but as a result, we want people to come in and join between those two streets. That's a significant number of blocks. That's like 10 blocks. So anywhere in there, north of Douglas, south of Old Orchard, that's where you should start on Bathurst. So you can get dropped off on the side streets. You can walk up. You can enter from Lawrence. You don't have to enter from Lawrence, but you certainly can enter from Lawrence and just walk your way up. It's a phenomenal thing that we have a great turnout, but people need to sort of flow up the street. If you want to join further north, you can by pedestrian. But as we've heard, you need to be patient because there'll be other blocks on those side streets if you join further north. If you want to join from Invermay, if you want to join from any of those York Downs, you can do that. But you just have to know that police might redirect you to a different side street because it's not completely open the way it is between Douglas and Old Orchard. So I just wanted to be super, super clear about that. Anything else, Steve, that you're seeing sort of pop up?
Yeah, a couple of quick questions related to the campus. So some have asked whether or not taxis or Ubers can come onto the Sherman campus or to the entrance to pick people up after. My understanding is that Bathurst is going to be completely closed along that stretch, so you won't be able to get picked up or dropped off directly at the entrance. My understanding is that you'll probably have to go up the hill and go north on Bathurst to get a pickup, but Michael and David, correct me if I'm wrong about that.
You're correct.
Okay, great. And we're also being asked about food. Can people bring their own food, either for allergy reasons or for any reason? Can people bring their own food onto the Sherman campus?
Absolutely. It's encouraged. Pack your own snacks, bring your own water. It's the best way to ensure that you have something for yourself and your kids to eat.
Well, we're at the 1 o'clock mark now. We're going to wrap up the call. I just want to share, in this call, we've received more than 600 questions submitted by chat. We've answered a significant number, literally hundreds, either by direct response or in the call itself. Thank you for your questions. I know that some of you may still have questions. Email us at info@walkwithisrael.com. We'll do our best to get back to you as soon as possible. And I just want to reiterate what was said earlier. We're expecting the biggest crowd in the history of the walk. This is going to be an exceptionally powerful community moment. You are not going to want to miss out. You're going to want to be there. But we also encourage you to be patient, whether it's being patient at the kickoff on Bathurst Street, being patient with parking and with transportation, being patient at the festival, because obviously we're going to have a massive crowd, and feeding and kind of engaging a crowd this big takes some time. So be patient. We're doing everything we can to make it the best experience for you and your family. And I just want to close by sharing with the team on this call. We've received so many messages of thanks in the course of this call. So many people who've texted us just to say, I don't have a question. I just want to thank you guys for what you're doing. We really appreciate that. It means the world to our team. The team is working very, very hard. Not just the people on this call, but a lot of people in this building are working very hard on the walk. But we're also tremendously grateful to everyone who's volunteering, everyone who's fundraising, everyone who's forming a team, who's donating. Thank you. You give us so much momentum and so much energy. And we're really, really excited to see you all on Sunday. So stay tuned. If you haven't registered, please do so. And email us if you have any questions. Thank you, everyone.